addicted to growing my 21-foot long hair. We do everything together. I am the Black Rapunzel.
When I first saw her hair, I was shocked how long it was.
Have you ever thought about,
Don't say the word cut.
could result in weakness, nerve damage, paralysis even?
Bottom line, I am not cutting my hair.
I'm addicted to stinging myself with bees. I sting myself on my hip, my elbow, on a finger, on the tip of my nose.
It's kind of strange, isn't it?
And you gotta admit, after I've had at least 10 stings, the sex is great.
Suddenly she'll swell up, her throat will close, and she'll die.
I'm starting to get really concerned about this.
I don't plan to stop.
My name is Asha. I live in Claremont, Florida. I'm 47 years old, and I'm addicted to growing my 21-foot long hair. It's my baby, my sweetheart, my crown. It makes me feel unique, one of a kind, a living legend. I am the Black Rapunzel.
Oh my goodness. When I first saw her hair, I was shocked how long it was. My second thought was, wow, she's got like a built-in broom.
47-year-old Asha has been growing her hair for 24 years. It started as a fashion choice when she was 23, but quickly turned into an addiction to growing the world's longest dreads. Now her long locks, that she's named Cobra, weigh over 10 pounds.
Me and Mr. Cobra, we are like really best friends. I talk to him a lot, I stroke him a lot, and yeah, I do kiss him a lot too. It's Mr. Cobra. We do everything together. We go driving in the car, I just place him on the passenger seat and I buckle him up. Mr. Cobra really likes grocery shopping. He absolutely loves fruits and vegetables. Sometimes Mr. Cobra and I just love to sit back and relax. We cuddle each other, and I can tell he likes that.
But Asha isn't the only person who gives her hair constant attention.
When a lot of people see such long hair, they want to talk to me, they want to take pictures.
Are you kidding me?
That's really all your hair.
It is all my hair. I use the shampoo on every inch of my locks. I treat it like I'm hand washing clothes. Just fed the baby some nice shampoo.
Asha's locks weigh about 25 pounds when wet. But that's not her only challenge.
My hair definitely dominates everything in the way I live. Even a simple thing as getting dressed, that's very stressful. My sleeping situation is very tricky. I worry about rolling around and getting tangled.
Even running everyday errands is difficult.
I have to really tilt and hold him a little bit so that he doesn't like bump into anything or get hooked into anything on top of the door.
But Asha's biggest fear is getting Cobra dirty.
I will never ever drag Mr. Cobra outside on the streets or on the sidewalk. If any type of bugs or anything get into the locks, I would have to cut it off. So if there's ever an unguarded moment where he looks like he's gonna fall, I get panic attacks. I will feel a pressure on my neck, and sometimes I begin to get a little bit tired around the shoulder area. It is a little bit hard to cope with, and it can hurt.
With increasing headaches and back pain, Asha's friends are worried.
She needs to cut her hair. I couldn't imagine having that much weight on my back, carrying that around every day.
There would never be anything medically or otherwise that can come up between me and my locks. Bottom line, I am not cutting my hair.
My name is Margaret, and I'm 53 years old. I live in Morningview, Kentucky, and I'm addicted to stinging myself with bees. I sting myself on my hip, my elbow, on a finger, my ankle, my forehead, on the tip of my nose. The most I've ever given myself was between 15 and 20 in my left hip. I really love stinging myself with bees.
Margaret has been addicted to bee stings for the past 10 years. Her addiction started innocently as a way to relieve her arthritis. In search of relief from the pain, Margaret turned to the beehives in her backyard.
I had read how people have been using it to relieve certain pain symptoms. The first time that I stung myself, it didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would. And it just got easier every time.
But what started as an occasional prick of pain for medical reasons has spiraled into 15 stings a day.
There's a couple trigger points right here that I like to sting. Kind of put a little dent in it with my fingernail. I gently tap it on the abdomen, and it comes away like that.
She's always had kind of a taste for looking at the odd side of things. At this point now, with 15 stings a day, that's when I'm starting to get really concerned about this.
It doesn't take very long for it to turn into that peppery burn, and it actually feels good. There's a little bit of swelling, there's a little bit of itching, but there's good stuff happening. Jeez, oh Pete, honey, look at this thing.
Yeah, you can see it twitching. Yep.
Margaret's so hooked on stinging herself with bees, she has hives in her backyard that keep her stocked at all times.
I hear a hum.
She even uses a bee vacuum to make the chase easier.
When I open this little revolving door here, they can go in, but they can't go out.
And Margaret never leaves home without a supply.
I carry honeybees around with me in my purse just in case I need a sting throughout the day.
But every time Margaret stings herself, the honeybee dies. Something Margaret is all too aware of.
Every bee is precious. I get sad when I watch them die. I prefer to get an older bee. The younger bees, they've got their lives ahead of them, and it helps me feel less guilt about killing the bees. I suppose some doctors might think that this is risky behavior, but I seem to thrive on the bee stings.
I need to find out if this is going to hurt her. She has her own ideas on things, but let's just see what medical science has to say about all this.
I don't think there's anything wrong with me stinging myself with bees, and I don't plan to stop.
Coming up, Asha and her hair hit a roadblock.
For your hair, you would need a help.
And how will Margaret's friend react when she reveals her shocking addiction? 47-year-old Asha has been addicted to growing her 21-foot dreadlocks for 24 years. She loves her hair like she loves her son, but her friends worry that her addiction has taken over her life.
Asha is absolutely not the typical mother. She has her hair, and then she has her son, but I think she has to be a little bit more mindful of what she can and can't do, especially when considering her son.
Today, Asha's friend Araji is taking Asha and her son to an amusement park and hopes to show Asha what she's missing out on.
For your hair, you would need a help.
Can you even fit in there?
I'll try. Uh-oh. I don't think so. Maybe if I put it on top like this, you think that's gonna work?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can't have you ride a go-kart with all of that.
It was very disappointing that I couldn't go because of my hair, but my life would not be a life without my hair. So I have to cope with it.
Too bad you couldn't get into the
I know the rides, right?
rides with us.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
Do you for real?
It's like maybe a little bit of disappointment that we couldn't do it, but he understands.
Have you ever thought about, I know,
Don't say the word cut. I am never cutting my hair.
altering your hair?
No, alter means cutting because how can you alter 21 foot of locks? I mean, really?
Think about considering, that it gets in the way of that type of quality.
I will not consider it. Never. I'll never consider cutting my locks. I don't want to hear the word cut with my hair. It's just not going to happen. So my reaction to Araja when he says cut was to cut him off.
53-year-old Margaret has been stinging herself with bees up to 15 times a day for the past 10 years. Margaret is so dependent on the stings, she has even befriended a beekeeper who is delivering a new hive.
This hive started out with probably 10,000 bees.
That's marvelous. I'd like to look at the queen.
Right.
I've never been stung by a queen before.
Right here she is.
Your Majesty! Look at her.
Not all of Margaret's friends know about her addiction to bee stings. But with the arrival of her new hive, she thinks it's time to reveal her obsession to her good friend Lyle.
Well, I just wanted to explain to you, what was going on in the backyard. All these bees that we got here now aren't just for the honey.
What does she do with them?
Sting myself.
Kind of strange, ain't it? I mean, I'd try to avoid it myself. I mean, you don't do it every day, though, do you?
Most of the time, every day.
Can't you find it someplace else, like in another form, without going through the pain? Or are you just a little sadistic?
It doesn't hurt like pain.
The last time I was stung, yeah, it did hurt like pain.
It's just a little peppery burn.
To me, it'd be a torture. Getting stung all the time. It's really probably the first time I've heard anybody purposely sting yourself. There is that concern, that you can go too far with it. It's one of those things, like, you don't know, and it affects some part of the body until 5, 10, 20 years down the road.
Coming up, Margaret defends her shocking addiction.
Gotta admit, after 10 stings, the sex is great.
47-year-old Asha is addicted to her 21 feet of hair she's named Cobra. But living with the world's longest dreads isn't always easy.
When I'm in a hurry and jump out the car, only to find out oops, I forgot Mr. Cobra. It can hurt.
Asha's friend Jewelry is worried about how her long locks are affecting her neck and back. Today, she wants to convince Asha to see a doctor before she does permanent damage.
I worry about you.
Why?
You had too many frequent headaches lately, and I don't think that's healthy.
Yes, it does weigh almost 10 pounds, and yes, it's some extra weight to carry, but I don't think it's a contributing factor to anything with my head or my neck.
I know, but you think the growth of it lately is contributing to it?
Well, first of all, my growth is not lately. I've been growing my locks for 24 years, and I've gotten used to carrying the weight.
I'm not harping on you, it's just that I'm concerned.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, I suggest that you call your doctor. You've been complaining a lot about your neck.
Well, I understand your cause for concern and everything, and I do appreciate it. Jewel is making a big deal out of nothing, but her opinion means a whole lot to me, and if she feels strongly about something, I do take it into consideration. I will go see a doctor, but I will never cut my hair.
For the past 10 years, 53-year-old Margaret has been addicted to stinging herself with bees. Every day, she relies on the flow of venom through her veins to relieve pain and stress.
I'm just trying to help it work its way in there so that the venom is all the way released and I can get the stinger to go in as deep as possible. No two stings are alike, but I feel relief from all of them.
But Margaret stings herself up to 15 times every day, and her husband, JD, is worried about the long-term effects. Today, he wants to convince her to see a doctor before she does permanent damage.
Well, I got one left.
Okay, we need to talk about this some. The folk medicine that we've been doing this with is great.
It's more than just folk medicine. They make me feel better, and when I haven't had a sting for a while, I get cranky.
But I don't want to have you pretty much tearing into the hive at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Because there's been many a morning you've woken up, walked around the house. Simple statement, I would really like to get a sting right about now. It gets to the point wherever we stop somewhere, you're automatically out of the car looking for bees. This is really getting kind of intense. I am concerned about this.
They relieve my anxiety, and they relieve so many other symptoms. And you gotta admit, after I've had at least 10 stings, the sex is great.
That's true, but can you understand my concern here?
Yeah.
I just need to see what the long-term effects of this has been. Let's go to a doctor on this.
You need proof that this is really helping me. All right, I'll see a doctor.
Okay.
But I really don't think he's going to find anything. You know, probably say that I'm healthy as a horse. Well, JD talked me into seeing the doctor. He seems to think I'm getting a little carried away with the whole bee sting thing, but if the doctor told me to stop stinging myself with bees, I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Coming up, will shocking news at the doctor convince Asha to cut her hair?
That's a sign that your nerves are being pinched, and that's dangerous.
And Margaret learns the truth about bee stings. 47-year-old Asha is addicted to her 21-foot hair she's named Cobra. But her friend worries the 10-pound locks could be hurting Asha's neck and back, and has convinced her to get checked out by a doctor.
Even if the doctor suggests that I cut my hair, it's not going to make me reconsider anything. I'm standing strong.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stewart, Chef Stewart.
You too.
How long is your hair?
My baby is over 21 feet long, and
1 feet long.
this is what he looks like.
Do you know how much your hair weighs?
10 pounds when it's dry,
Okay.
and when it's wet, it's like almost 25 pounds.
Okay. Can we take a peek at you?
Sure.
Bend your head down as far as it'll go. Does that hurt you at all?
It feels kind of strained.
Okay. Does that bother you at all?
Yeah,
Where's it hurt?
my back.
The doctor orders an immediate x-ray to get to the bottom of Asha's pain.
I think this is going to progress to the point where she develops severe pain from her nerves being pinched, and at some point it could eventually progress to paralysis. Well, we've got your x-rays. You do have some abnormalities in your neck. Your discs are all really worn. They've all really collapsed. And that's a sign that your nerves are being pinched, and that's dangerous. Potentially, could result in weakness, nerve damage, paralysis even. And some of it certainly may be related to carrying the weight of your hair. I would have to professionally recommend that you would cut your hair.
My response to that is I don't believe my pain in my back has anything to do with my hair. But my baby's my baby, and he's here to stay. He's not going anywhere. Sorry. If Mr. Cobra chooses to keep growing, then I am not going to stop him. Whether he grows another 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50 feet, I'll find creative ways to accommodate him, and we would continue to bond with each other.
"53-year-old Margaret has been stinging herself with bees up to 15 times a day for the past 10 years. She believes her addiction is healthy, but her husband isn't so sure and convinced Margaret to see a doctor.
How does somebody start bee therapy?
I heard that arthritis can be relieved with honeybee stings, and one day I caught a bee in a jar, brought it in the house, and stung myself. The next day I was able to move easier, and it was a surprise that it actually worked.
Okay. How do you determine how many you take in a day?
You can't really measure the dosage that are in those little stingers and stuff. I just kind of feel and see how swollen it gets.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a quick exam and check you out. Certainly with bee stings, we're not sure how much of a dose, if you will, is toxic. So my biggest fear is that one day suddenly she'll swell up, her throat will close, and that she'll die. My concern is a couple-fold. One is that over time, you can become allergic, even though for years you've been doing this, and suddenly you swell up and can't breathe. The other thing is I would recommend once or twice a year just having some blood work done just to make sure that your liver and your kidneys are working properly. We don't know long-term what some of the bee sting toxins can do. Would I recommend that you stop? Yes, I would.
I've heard a lot of those concerns before from other people, and, you know, bee stings are not for everybody, but they work for me. I need to continue stinging, but I don't think I'll be increasing my numbers any. I'll just proceed with caution. Ever since I found this nice little vacuum thing, it's made my life a whole lot easier. It's hard to catch them in mid-flight with your bare hands. It's better being able to find a flower with the bee on it, put it over top of it, and vacuum it up. It's small and compact, and I can actually put it in my purse if I need to. Sometimes I carry the bees around with me just for the heck of it because I like their company.